Hello and welcome back to the Lumin Weekly Q&A. Here we are, in the tropical rainforest that is our backyard. Except, it's not very tropical, and there's definitely no rain. It's like 35 degrees here today, and I'm sweating profusely. It's bad, okay? I just shaved and washed my face off to prepare for this, to look presentable. Because, you know, I've been having a tough day. Because of the heat. I dislike the heat intensely. I just want winter here. It's going to be winter in a couple of months. It's autumn now here in South Africa. And winter starts like June, July. That's when I'm going to start having a good time. I'm going to be able to actually sleep at night because it's going to be nice and cool. And I just prefer the winter. It's like one season of gaming weather. The entire season is just gaming weather the whole time. Hello, Nero. Did you come to join me? What? He's actually got his paw in the plant pot right now. My boy, don't dig in the plant pot. Hold on. I'm just watching him. No, don't dig in the pot. No. He's digging in his mommy's plant pot. That's actually really bad of him, but, you know, he's having fun. It's Sunday, okay? I'm gonna let him have his fun. That's fine, my boy. Now he's just meandering around here, looking for something to do. We actually made him a little pot of grass. We took canary seeds or bird seeds. They're called canary seeds here, I don't know. But that's what you feed to your canaries. And we threw it in a pot and it's growing now quite nicely. I'll show it to you in a vlog in the future. And he likes it. It's like really fresh, really green, really nice looking grass. And he really appreciates it. So he actually had his paw in there earlier, which is also not good because that grass is fragile. It may taste nice, but it's not the most hardy of grasses. Anyway, okay. So, I just wanted to talk about a few things before I head into the questions. I've got them all on my phone right here. But I wanted to say that the Mass Effect was slightly delayed. The first episode should be up just before this, and the next one just after this. And they should come quite flowingly after this. There's not going to be any more delays. And there were a few reasons for the delays. Firstly, Right Panda's PC is making an incredible noise. And I actually had to switch her PC off to record Mass Effect, and as you can imagine, she didn't like that very much because she couldn't do anything then, and the weekend is generally a time when she spends more of her time in front of her PC playing games, Facebooking, looking at art websites, I don't know, doing stuff on her PC, watching series. Okay, she watches a lot of series, so I had to actually wait for a gap where I could do that. And it was very noisy. Like her fan of her graphics card, incredibly noisy. And it's not the kind of thing we can just replace because most of the places here don't have stock of that. So we've ordered a new fan and we're waiting for it to arrive. So if you do hear a buzzing in my videos, it's that. And it shouldn't be there for much longer. Okay, but it won't be in the first Mass Effect videos. Don't worry about that. So that's not the only thing. I actually wasn't very happy. I recorded it once. And that was just the first mission now, the part that we actually played or saw in the demo. And I recorded that once and I wasn't happy with it, so I did it again. And the second time was fine. That was like really good, and you'll see that. Or that's the one you've already seen, actually. Anyway, so that's that. It's done. It's coming up now, and I hope you guys are liking it. I am absolutely loving the game. I've recorded 3 parts so far. I played that's about an hour and a half, and I can't wait to do more. Like, I really can't wait. It's such a cool game. So far, at least. So far. I've been told so many things already though, that I'm going to make tough choices and that the game is going to be depressing at some points. And honestly, it has actually been depressing already. Like really, there have been some really tough parts where you see little children dying or where you see like, I don't know, just sad stuff. Okay, and I don't think that the other games were as touching as that. Like, there's a fly here. Get out of here, fly. It feels like the devs tried to really like make you cry at every corner in Mass Effect 3. I'm probably not going to cry at every corner, but some people probably would. Anyway, okay, enough of that. I'm going to head into the questions now. Starting the big questions first. And there are 3 or 4 here that are sort of linked together, so I put them together. And someone actually asked if I could put the names with every single question, so I'm going to do that. I'll mention who asked what with every single question, and I hope you appreciate it. It's basically just to try and get me to say all the names and see how much I mess up with them because some of these names are difficult. Firstly, you mentioned that you came to the UK. Could you elaborate when you came, when and where you went, and also did you enjoy yourself? So I'm going to answer that in just a second. I'm just going to ask the next one first as well. That was from Fab12UCB, And then this next one is from OhItsZoey, and she asked, I'm assuming it's a she, that I mentioned that I was in the UK airport, and she was just wondering what I was doing over there and did I like it. So it's pretty much the same question. Then another question that ties in with this is travel plans. Where have you been and where would you want to visit? So that's actually a very interesting question. I could talk a lot about that, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. Firstly, the UK, I've got some water here. Have a look. It's Bon Aqua. There you go. I don't know why they'd call it Bon Aqua Pump, because that is a lame name. I don't like it, but I'm drinking it. It's a big bottle of really cold water, and it's not actually my bottle. This is Riot Panda's, and she's not happy that I'm drinking it. But she doesn't have a choice. She's busy playing on my Mass Effect account, and she's enjoying the game too. Well, not on my character. She's got her own character, obviously. So, I went to the UK when I was 21. I think, no, maybe it was when I was 18. Between 18 and 21. Those years were a bit of a blur. Not because I was like hardcore partying or anything, just because I can't remember that. Okay, I don't know, I've got a terrible memory when it comes to the years of my life. But I went overseas on it was called a Kontiki tour. And my parents sort of gave it to me as a gift. And it was a lot of fun. It was long before I met Helene or Riot Panda. And I enjoyed myself. I went to the UK. I mostly enjoyed myself. I went to the UK and I went to France, and I was supposed to go to Amsterdam as well, but that didn't happen. So what actually happened was, when I was in France, my wallet and all my money got stolen, and that sort of killed the mood. And I went home soon after that when I was in France. So I had a couple of days in the UK and a couple of days in France, and it was lots of fun. We were in Paris, and it was a tour, so we got a lot of time for ourselves where we could just go around and see things. And we were in the middle of London when I was in the UK, so I've been to Heathrow a couple of times, and we just went to see the sights. We saw Big Ben, we saw the London Bridge, we went to that big eye, the London Eye thing. It was a lot of fun. It was a touristy trip, and I enjoyed it, but I think that had I gone when I was a bit older, so if I had to be able to go over there today, I'd probably enjoy it more, because I think I'm more outgoing now compared to how I was then, and I probably would have enjoyed the tour and the company of the people there and everything like that a lot more now. But I did enjoy it then, and the people were friendly. I enjoyed their company, the tour bus and all the people that were with us, really cool. We stayed in some really nice hotels. I gotta say that Paris was probably nicer than London to me, because it was just more interesting. We went to Moulin Rouge, and that was amazing. That was really cool to see in real life, because I'd only seen it in movies before. We went to the Eiffel Tower, we went to the Arc de Triomphe. I think it's said like that, whatever. I don't know if it's said like that. If it's not, then you can correct me. But I saw all of that, and that was amazing. Just seeing that, just being there. And the nice thing is, for us, it's like the kind of locations that you only usually see in movies. Now, the people that live there will say, oh, well, we see it every day, so it's a little bit boring. But for us, it's not. For me, it's not. For me, it was incredibly exciting seeing all those places. The Eiffel Tower was really cool. We went up to the highest point in it that we could go to, and that was great. We went to eat at a couple of restaurants there. The French food was much better than the UK food that we had, and I just thought I'd point that out. And it was fun. It was a tour though. It was an organized tour. We were meant to go to Amsterdam, but I lost my wallet, or it was stolen from me. Not like forcibly taken out of my hand. It was just gone. Oh, and we went to the museums as well. We went to the Louvre. We went to a couple of the really famous big church places there. We went to Bath, which is actually not really in the big city, so we drove out of the city, we went to Bath, and that was really fun as well. It was nice there. We went to the most amazing fudge shop there, but overall it was a tour, so I can't really say that much about it. It was lots of fun, but it was a little bit more restricted than I would have enjoyed. Now, back then that was probably perfect for me, but now I think I'd enjoy it more if I could just do my own thing and go wherever I wanted to go. But other than that, the only other places I've traveled would be, I've been to Ireland with Riot Panda. We visited a mother there, and that was really cool as well. We went to a lot of shops. We went to Dublin. Did we go to Dublin or Belfast? Belfast. We went to Belfast, and it was also nice to see. It's another place that I've seen often in movies and stuff. And we went to the Giant's Causeway, which was a lot of fun. I think I've actually answered this question before, but I'm doing it again now. I liked Ireland. It was the kind of place where I could see myself living just because the weather was cool. The country wasn't as full and as busy as the UK was, or as France was. There was a lot more open space. It was very green. It was really nice looking there, and it just felt comfortable being there. I enjoyed it. It was really cold, so I enjoyed that as well. But other than that, the only other place I've been was to the US. I went there to visit the Blizzard headquarters for the StarCraft press tour, which was last year in July. Was it in July? Or was it in May? It was the end of the May. I don't know. Between May and July. And that was also really amazing. That was probably my favorite trip so far, just because I'm older now and it's more like fresh in my memory. And as I said, I enjoyed it more. I actually did more stuff that I enjoyed. Although we had very, very little free time, especially seeing that I had to travel the most out of everyone that went there, seeing that I had to fly up to the UK, to Heathrow, and then from Heathrow across to LAX. So it was a lot of flying for me, a lot of traveling. It's like 12 or 13 hours up to Heathrow from South Africa, and then another 11 or whatever over to LAX. So that's crazy. That was crazy, but honestly, the time I spent there was really enjoyable. The hotel we stayed in California, where was it? In Irvine, the Doubletree Hotel or something, was really cool. They treated us like superstars there. The food was amazing. The people that I met there, also really cool. All the Blizzard employees, all the press people that came to look at Heart of the Swarm, really, really fun. I got to walk around a mall for a little bit there. We ate at, I think it was a Mexican place, at the same mall that I walked around. I wish I had more time. I went to one Hot Topic there, the shop, Hot Topic, and it was probably the most amazing shop that I've ever seen. I wish we had something like that here. It was so cool, and I can't wait to go over there again. If I ever go over there again, I'm taking a lot of money with me, and I'm going to buy lots of t-shirts and clothing and all sorts of other goodies there. And the tech stuff was also much cheaper there. A 3DS cost like half the price there than it did here. All the games and stuff were a lot cheaper. The bookshops were cool. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. Okay, so those are the places that I've been. It's not too exciting. We haven't traveled a lot, but it was, I suppose, pretty cool. It's enough. Myself and Right Panda haven't traveled at all in the last couple of years because we've got Nero here, and I don't know, we're just very busy at the moment, so there's not really time. But maybe in the future we'll go somewhere again. Then travel plans where I'd like to go. That's the only part I didn't actually answer. Where I'd like to go, it's tough. I'd like to go back to the US sometime, just because I kind of liked it there and I didn't really get to explore it very much because it was such a tight schedule when we were at Blizzard. But other than that, just anywhere in Asia, anywhere to the east. Basically, like Singapore, Taiwan, even China looks really cool. Japan, any of those places, like really seriously anywhere in the east would be a lot of fun. And it doesn't really matter if I go to a developed or to like a more rural area, because those are two totally different experiences. I'd love to go to Tokyo. That's on my wish list, definitely on my wish list. Tokyo, or any of the other really big cities over there on that side of the world would be really cool to see. But at the same time, like I said, I'd like to go to the rural areas as well, something that's less developed, something where you can just sort of explore more, be an adventurer, you know? So that's where I'd like to go. That's my wish list. I'd also like to go to Germany. I've actually not been to Germany yet, but that's sort of lower down on the list. No offense to the Germans. I'm sure it's a great country. I'm actually very sure it's a great country. Now, this is also tied in. I didn't want to add it to that because it's another whole question by itself. But this is from Aaron. His nickname's actually AMB22189, but he said I can call him Aaron. So his question is, when you make it big on YouTube, i.e. 100k plus subs, would you ever consider moving overseas to a more internet-friendly area and closer to the buzz of gaming? For instance, like California for BlizzCon and all other gaming conventions held there. I've obviously considered that kind of thing. Firstly, I'm not close to big enough yet. Not close, like nowhere near. But it's something to think about, yes. So is this amazingly cold water. That's something to think about. I hope you guys have coffee, or water, or juice, or a snack. A snack is nice too, to watch Lumin Weekly with. Anyway, so, I've thought about that. Yes, we've actually thought about that. But if we had to travel, if we had to go somewhere overseas, I think Europe would be a better choice for us, seeing that it's actually closer to South Africa. The US is double the distance. in flights, and it would be that much more difficult to see our family, my parents, my girlfriend's parents, except for her mother stays in Ireland. But that said, somewhere, I would actually, honestly, if I had to choose a country, I'd say Italy. Looks amazing. And I've heard that like real estate prices aren't too extreme there. You can buy a pretty humble place, but a pretty nice place for not too much there. And I honestly think Nero would enjoy a country like Italy more than a country like the US, because you might have more space, he might have a little bit more freedom. But that's something that I can't really say yet. We are actually happy here, regardless of the internet speed. If I do make it bigger and I've got more subs and I'm actually making some proper money from it, then I'll upgrade the internet. And I'm hoping that we get better internet here soon. I'm not sure if we're going to. Maybe I'll get some sort of business line that might cost more, but it might be faster too. We'll see. That's the kind of thing that I have to wait and see. I have to wait for the future to see how things develop, how the internet or technology develops in South Africa. I will know more about that kind of thing in the next year or two. So let's move on to the next question, because there are a lot of them to get through. Now, this one's from Kritsu. It's actually Qritsu. I think it's Kritsu. Or, yeah, Kritsu. It must be Kritsu. So, his first question. What are your thoughts on regional game pricing and its effects on game piracy? What do you think about piracy in general? Those are actually two questions. So I just closed that. There you go, opened it again. Anyway, the regional game pricing thing is actually really tough. It's like it became like really painfully obvious with Mass Effect and its launch. And you'll have to excuse me if I drink a lot of water because it's incredibly hot and I need to hydrate. Especially seeing that I want to record more stuff this afternoon. But Mass Effect 3. We'll talk about that now. I drink a lot of water every day. Liters and liters of water. Mass Effect 3 cost me, here, 350 Rand. That ends up being about $40 for the collector's edition. The N7 collector's edition with everything in, and that's a physical boxed copy of the game. That's very cheap. I heard that the guys in the US or in the UK or whatever paid like $80 to $100 for it. Now, that is lucky. I think they made a mistake with the pricing and I capitalized on that. But I think regional game pricing and piracy, like, it definitely has an effect on it because, I mean, the developers don't always have their finger on the pulse of what's happening in gaming. They don't always know exactly what's going on. Sure, they have to watch out for piracy. They have to see the numbers, see how many people are actually playing the game, pirated or not, see how many people bought it, and see how many people buy their DLC and that other stuff. But, you know, I think it's definitely hurting gaming that all the countries have to try and do their own thing with it. One thing that to me is a bigger deal, at the moment at least, is the fact that they release the games at different times in different areas all the time. One company that I think should be a role model to everyone else is Blizzard in that respect, because they release the game at the exact same time everywhere in the world, and I think that's amazingly good. I didn't like that Mass Effect was launched 4 days later for us here in South Africa than the guys in the US. That was terrible. I think they should definitely think about these things. I don't know why they would want to release it later in the EU. I know there's probably a reason for it, some business-related reason for it, but I honestly don't understand why they'd go through with it. As for the pricing, it's definitely causing a lot more games to be pirated. I think that the guys in the US and the guys in Australia, for instance, are getting shafted heavily when it comes to pricing. I think especially Australia, and I really feel sorry for you guys down there. You tend to have games costing like double or triple the amount that we have to pay for them here. And down here, generally PC games are cheaper, console games are much more expensive, and that's normally how it is, but I mean the difference is much bigger for us. I think that it's having a huge effect on piracy because people in Australia, for instance, why would you want to wait 3 or 4 days extra, pay double the amount for a game that you can just download a reloaded version of and play it instantly for no cost? Sure, there's a risk of being caught or whatever because I suppose your cybercrime divisions are much better down there, but you know, they push people to do that. And what was the second half of that question? Piracy in general, right? I don't think that it's as big a deal as people make it out to be. Okay? So, I think that, I can't remember which publisher it was that said it, but I think it was Valve, actually, Gabe Newell, who said that if people pirate your game, then you're not offering them enough a good enough service. Okay, and that's true. That is entirely true. 2 or 3 years ago, I hated Steam. I disliked Steam. I thought it was terrible. But nowadays, I can't live without it. And I feel that the ease of use that they give you with Steam is just amazing. It's nice having all your games there. It's nice having the achievements. It's nice that your friends can see how much you've played. And that service that Valve are providing you makes it worth buying games through them. The extra... I don't know, no, I don't really have a word for it, but the extra stuff that they give you with it, the fact that you can easily play with friends, the fact that you can easily see what your friends are doing at all times, you can chat, you can interact, you can communicate, you'll just enjoy your games more if you play it on Steam than if you cracked it. And both myself and Right Panda have recently, of course I've downloaded cracked games before, I've done it, but I don't do it anymore because I feel that more often than not, it's much more enjoyable if you actually bought it and you've got access to all those features. Now, that same thing can apply to, or all the developers should keep that in mind, all the publishers should keep that in mind, that if you're not offering a good enough service, if you're not giving people a reason to actually pay for your game, and I don't call Origin a reason, I don't call the fact that, you know, they look at it in the wrong way. They say that, you know, if we put this heavy DRM on our game, or if we force people to log into Origin and be online whether they want to play, if we force them to do these things, then they'll want to buy it through us. No, that's not the right answer. If they make it more enjoyable to use Origin, if they give us benefits or bonuses for using Origin, they must entice people instead of like control them with their iron grip. And that's pretty much my view on it. Okay, I personally have not pirated a game in a long time. I just don't see the need for it. You know, if you're not sure about a game, I think that people should be releasing more demos. Mass Effect 3 demo, amazing idea. It was a really good demo. I thought the demo was really solid, lots of fun to play, and after playing the demo, I was 100% sure that I'd get the full version. I'd definitely buy it. And so more publishers should just try and make it worth it for you to buy the game, not because you have to buy it, you have to be online, you have to do it because of the crazy DRM, but because they should try and make you want to buy the game for different reasons. More people should release demos. I'm not the best person to talk about this. Okay, I don't know much about the business side of gaming. I don't know much about the like anti-piracy techniques that the guys use, but I can tell you that there are ways for people to make you buy their games that that can be much easier for them and be much more fun for us. So the same thing comes down to the pricing. Some games should probably not be priced at what they are priced. Some indie games give you just as much, if not more, content than the AAA titles that sell at $60 or $70, and the indie games can end up costing like $10. Another thing is after you buy the game, if they patch the games regularly, you'll want to buy it because it really is a hassle patching a cracked game every time. Shh, these guys, they're not going to hear me. I should probably not do that anyway, but there are lots of reasons. Personally, I don't have a problem with people pirating games. I don't go out and say, you know, I hate you because you pirated. Everyone has their reasons. I do think that you're a bit of a hypocrite if you say you're not going to buy Mass Effect because of the DLC and all that stuff, and then you go and pirate it and play it anyway. I think that's silly. So if you say you don't like the DLC, you don't like the way they're monetizing the game, then you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't go out and pirate it, and you know that just sends the wrong message. Okay, basically. But it's a tough question for me or someone like me to answer because I don't know much about that kind of thing. But I hope I managed to answer it. Although it might have been vague, I hope I managed to answer your question. So, let's see. Now, Zidana123 asked, this was actually a further question about the sweet potato thing from last week. She asked, since sweet potatoes are your favorite food, which is your favorite type of sweet potato? White-fleshed, yellow-fleshed, or orange-fleshed? Also, what's your opinion on eating the skins? Very interesting question, and I like questions like this. So I eat the skins. I think it's pointless not eating the skins because they actually add a lot to the taste. I personally think if you just wash them off a little bit, you know, get all the dirt off there. If there's dirt on them, it depends on where you buy them. I know if you buy them at like Woolworths here or something, which is, the guys in the UK is Marks and Spencer, I have to mention that, then they're usually pretty clean. But some other places where you buy them, they've got dirt on them and stuff. So you just clean it off nicely, then the skin is fine. It's not a problem. I always eat the skin. As for the color of the flesh, I like the yellow and orange ones more, but I think it all depends on, I mean, there are like hundreds of different types of sweet potato, and they're all, I think every individual sweet potato actually has a pretty unique taste. If it's only a little, if only a little difference, the taste difference is there, and I think that the white ones tend to be a little bit more dull, and the orange and yellow ones, not so much orange, I prefer the yellow ones, those are probably my favorites, and that's, I would say, the most common one here. I don't know, maybe that and white, but I think I prefer the yellow ones just because they have more of a taste, or at least a stronger taste. But for potatoes, any type of potato, eating the skin is essential. Now, Swescent sent a couple of questions, and he actually sent a very in-depth version of every question, but I'm going to give you the short version of it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to answer them correctly or in full, but I'll try. He said, if you could relive one day in your life with your current knowledge retained and the possibility to make new and different choices, which day would that be and why? So I'm not big on regretting things that I've done or on wanting to relive the past. So I wouldn't really want to go back to change anything. Not at all. No. The only thing I might have done is I might have started doing what I wanted to do earlier in my life, but I don't regret not doing that. You know, so it's not really a problem for me. If I had to relive one day, I'd say it would probably be a happy day. It would be a day that I enjoyed. The day that we got Nero puppy, for instance. That would be amazing. I'd love to relive that because he was so cute when he was a puppy. He's incredibly cute right now. I mean, he's the most handsome puppy in the world. Is he even here? No, I don't see him. He's not here. He's the most handsome puppy in the world. But when we got him, he was like a little bear puppy. He was so puffy and cute and he had a little face. We've got a photo of him on the fridge when he was a puppy, and we've got a lot of photos on... I'll post one on Facebook. Sometime I'll post a photo of Nero, but just because of that, I'd relive that day any day, just because it was so much fun and he was so cute. And the first night that he slept or he spent with us was incredibly cute. He lay next to my bed on a pillow. At first we didn't want him sleeping on the bed, or we wanted him to actually sleep on his own bed, but he kept crying and I had to lie with my hand off the bed right next to him, on him, to tell him that I was there, because he had abandonment issues when he was a baby. And still, to this day, he doesn't like it when we leave him alone. He lives with it, but say for instance we give him a bone to chew, or a biscuit, when we go out. He actually takes that biscuit, he puts it down, and he leaves it there. He keeps it there till we get back. He does not eat that biscuit, or that bone, or anything like that, till we get back. He waits around, watching the gate, and he waits for us. He doesn't enjoy it when we're not there. And that started when he was a little puppy already. And the first night that we had him, he was lying next to my bed and crying. Every time I took my hand away, he started crying again, and it was the cutest thing ever. It was sad, but cute, and after a while he got used to it, and then he stopped sleeping on our bed. He got up onto the bed, he felt more comfortable doing that. He slept on Right Panda's side, not on my side, because I didn't want him on my side at the time. I am a very light sleeper, and I wake up like, the slightest movement will wake me up, but nowadays he sleeps on my bed anyway. He doesn't care. He just lies at my feet, and... well, now it's actually very hot at the moment, so he doesn't like it that much. But that's one day that I would. Maybe the first day that I went to Right Panda's house, that was enjoyable. That was really nice. But that's a very difficult question for me to answer, because I honestly don't think very much about the past. I do, sure, but I don't think that I'd want to relive any days for reasons like changing my decisions. I would say, like I said, rather relive them because it was lots of fun, or because I enjoyed it. So I hope that sort of answers your question. And then the next part of this, after having experienced this day once anew, maybe with different choices made, maybe with unspoken questions asked, how would this experience affect you today, if in any way at all? So that's also a difficult one, because the way I answered the previous question didn't really tie into this, but I would say that I'd just be happier. Even more happy than I am right now. It'll just strengthen my love for Nero, or for Miss Lumin over there. You know, it's just something that it would be nice to do, but it's not something that I need to do, or that I really... I mean, I remember the day quite clearly that I first went to a house for the first time. It was like our first date, basically. I remember the first day that we got Nero puppy, and it's not something that I need to relive. But it was a happy day. Both those days were happy, and they were a lot of fun. But otherwise, like I said, I'm not the kind of person who regrets anything that I did. I would rather just take it all as it comes and, you know, learn from it all. So I hope that answers it. It was a bit of a dodge, the way I answered the question, but that's the way I'd answer it. So, next. Now this is actually a couple of questions, and these are from Angeln25. I'm not sure how to say your name. I think he's actually from South Africa, but I'm not sure how to say it. So, being a gamer, what is your take on open source games? Part 2 is, will you ever do a playthrough of an open source game? If not, why not? Then I'll answer those first. Open source games are amazing. I think it's great that the developers give other people an opportunity to use what they created. I'm all for it. Okay, I think a lot of big name games are actually open source nowadays, like Quake 3, like one of the Wolfenstein games, I think. There are a lot of big name open source games that I have played and I do play, but I think it's really good, and I think it sort of helps development. It helps other people. Like if you know you've got access to everything that these guys did on this game and you could take it and learn from it, then it'll definitely help people trying to get into that more. And you know, will I ever do a playthrough of an open source game? That depends. I'm gonna do playthroughs of older games in the future, so perhaps an older one, perhaps if the newer open source game comes out, if people are working on something else, sure, I don't have a problem with doing that. I think it's great. And you know, so I can't really answer that very in-depthly, because I don't know much about open source games and how it affects everything and how they do all of that, but I think it is for the better. And then the last part of his question is, what is your reason for wanting to join the Game Station or any other group like that? Well, my main reason would be to make money and to have more growth on my channel. So more sort of opportunities for growth. If I join the Game Station, I might be able to one day work with bigger people like Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, any of the StarCraft guys that they have, basically anyone in the Game Station, and they'll be able to put ads on my videos for me, so I'll actually make some money from it. Those are the reasons. Okay, now we can actually move into the smaller questions. I hope you guys are still enjoying your water or your tea or your coffee or your snacks. Essential. If I could, I'd probably have snacks here too, because I am quite hungry. I'm gonna go make myself a peanut butter and honey sandwich after this. Yum. I put way too much peanut butter on, and Right Panda doesn't like it, but I hardly ever eat it. And I keep telling myself I hardly ever eat it, but then I end up eating it all the time. And I put like really thick peanut butter on and like a lot of honey, and you have to eat it really quick, because you bite it once and then everything like splats out the side. But that's just how I roll. I can't help it. I'm not the biggest peanut butter fan, but doing that is just amazing. I love it. Anyway, okay, so I'll have that after this. Now, the small questions. Before you started doing game commentaries, this is actually something I've answered like a lot of times. What was your job? And if you're not able to, or had not been able to pursue this, what do you think you'd be doing for a living? So the chances are good I'd be doing something tech related, like web design or writing for a website, or I don't know, something like that. Who knows? I could have been working with my father or for my father, because I actually did that for a couple of months. And that was okay. It wasn't bad, but it's not really the kind of thing I was into. So what I did before that was I did a couple of web design courses. I did a couple of networking courses, so I studied a lot. I actually studied some music for a year or two. I could play guitar quite decently, and it's something that I wanted to do, but it never really panned out. And right now I can't really play guitar at all, because I haven't touched the guitar in a year and a half or 2 years, or maybe even longer. And that's something I sort of regret. I would like to play more guitar. I'd like to get back into that. Nero's here now, and he's actually having a snack himself. He's eating some of his grass pot. But I will probably get back to that when I've got more time. At the moment, I don't have any free time. I spend like 12 hours a day on YouTube stuff, be it collecting news, be it recording commentaries, replying to emails and messages, speaking to people about further future opportunities. Just basically YouTube stuff takes up a lot of time. And then the rest of my day is filled with walking Nero. That's like an hour every day, or longer perhaps, because sometimes he forces me to walk longer. Going to the gym, going to the shops, helping Right Panda with things, because she doesn't really want to do everything alone, which is nice. I help her with her room she's busy with. I go to the shops with her. Basically, stuff like that. That takes up a lot of time too. And obviously sleeping. I do that sometimes. I do that sometimes. But before I started doing this, I did a lot of random stuff. I made a couple of websites for a couple of people. I did basically smaller things and nothing concrete, nothing for a long time. So basically what it came down to is I was just waiting to do this. That's what it was. I was waiting to do this, and this was meant to be. So that's that. Have you ever thought about doing Ustream or using Ustream to live stream any of your gaming sessions and maybe play with some of the people from the Lumin community? Yes, I have thought of doing that, but our internet is so terrible here that the quality would probably not be watchable. It would be terrible, and the chances are good that I wouldn't be able to use those VODs or whatever for my channel. So it would be a bit of a waste, but what I want to do in the future or sometime soon is organize or set a time and choose a game and then play some games with you guys. Maybe be it Dota 2, be it something in StarCraft or World of Warcraft or anything like that. There are lots of games. Mass Effect. I don't know if I can play Mass Effect without delay and stuff. Any FPS type games, they don't generally work. But I will organize something soon, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. I will let you guys know. Now, let's see. Did you watch True Grit? Yes, this was, oh, that previous one was, both those previous ones were from For You Winston, and this one's from the Yazi. I watched True Grit, and I think, was it Jeff Bridges in there? It was amazing. True Grit was a really good Western movie. I loved it. It was really, really good. The little girl that acted in there, she was pretty cool as well. Really, really like hardcore. For a girl of that age, she was amazing. Anyway, True Grit was really good. Oh, on a side note, yeah, I had something to say about another Western that I really enjoyed. It had Clint Eastwood in, but I can't... A Western with Clint Eastwood. Who'd have thought it? Apart from the Sundance Kid, that was amazing. But there was another one. If I think of it, I'll tell you guys. Then next one. Since you mentioned you like sci-fi movies, have you ever watched the movie Dune, the 1984 version? This is from Firestorm 123. I haven't watched it, but I did watch the mini-series of Dune. It was like 3 or 4 episodes long, and I think it was released like in 2000. I'm not sure. I watched that, but I was never a really big fan of Dune. For some reason, I never really got into it. But it was enjoyable. I do remember. I think the 1984 version had Patrick Stewart in, and he's really cool. But I didn't watch it. I will get it. I'll get it and I'll watch it. Just because you mentioned it now. And I'm sure it'll be good. That too. Then, Fab12UCB asks, what are your thoughts on Prime Circle, the band? I don't really like them. That's a South African band. I'm not into that kind of music. Same reason I'm not really into Seether. I'm not really into... the Polytones are a big South African band. I don't know. I just don't like the sound of their music. They are good. They are really, really good. I do believe that, but they're not my kind of music. And that's going to tie into the next thing. What kind of music do you enjoy listening to? What's your favorite band? And have you ever heard the band Tool? This is from 2 different people actually asked this. Mr. Patrick M. James and Mr. Undertaker. Hey boy, Nero's right here. What's going on, puppy? He says it's way too hot, daddy, and I'm not enjoying this. Here. I agree. So, while I'm enjoying this, it's just very hot. To the first part. My favorite band. I answered this last week or the week before, but I'd have to say, like, again, Hoobastank. Hoobastank. Very weird name, very cool band. Linkin Park, 30 Seconds to Mars. Incubus is really good. But then when it comes to non-bands, I listen to a lot of music. I don't listen to a lot, but I listen to a wide variety of artists. I don't listen to a lot of music recently because I just don't have the time, and I can't listen to music while I play games, so I generally just don't listen to anything. I haven't listened to music for a long time, but I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of artists that are like I mean, I enjoy a lot of stuff. I like stuff that you probably pull your nose up at, like Rihanna's really good, Alicia Keys is really good, even Robbie Williams has put out some really great stuff. One of my favorite songs of all time is Robbie Williams' Advertising Space. If you haven't heard that, go listen to it now. I absolutely love that song. I'll listen to that on repeat for an entire day and I won't get sick of it. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I really like it. But those bands that I mentioned before, those are probably my favorites. I might be missing something. I can't remember, but because I haven't listened to it for a while, but those are the bands. Okay. And then MMA Tomaz asks, have you seen Game of Thrones? And if not, see it. I know you'll love it. Then the next question here from Bellatrice or Bellatrice. Are you and Right Panda actually planning to watch Game of Thrones Season 2? And the answer to both of those, yes. We watched the first season. It was really, really good. And I'll definitely watch the second season. When it ends up coming out here, we'll watch it. I really enjoyed the first season. It was absolutely amazing. That is the kind of series that I really enjoy. I haven't read the books yet, before you ask, and I would prefer to not read the books. And I know it sounds silly, but I don't want to spoil the series because I'm really enjoying the series. I know the books are probably better, but I'll live with just the series, for now at least. I've got a lot of other books to read. Okay. Then, have you ever played collecting card games like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh? Then there are actually a few others linked to this. That's from Smix C. Shawnee. And then Gigaboost also asks, was Pokemon ever a cultural phenomenon in South Africa? Did you play it? Did you watch the anime and trade cards? I watched some of the anime or the series, but I never really got into it, and I never played the card game. As for other, yes, it was pretty big in South Africa. My cousins played it. A lot of people had little clubs that they went to, and they played it there, and they trade cards and stuff like that. But I played Magic the Gathering for quite some time, but not really seriously. I went to a couple of like club group meeting things with friends, and I enjoyed it. I think it's amazing. I think it's a bit of a money sink, but it's really fun. So that said, I'd prefer to play it on the computer or something like that if I had more time, but I think it's really cool. Yes, I did enjoy it a lot. So I'm still looking at my phone here at the questions, just if you're wondering why I'm looking down here the whole time. And if you're wondering why I'm sounding terrible, it's because I've not been sleeping very well because of the heat. Our room is right here, and it gets incredibly, incredibly hot at night. And I can't sleep. I'm a very light sleeper. It gets a little bit hot, then I just end up waking up, and that ruins it. That ruins it for me. And I can't sleep longer than... Nero wakes me up at 6 o'clock every morning with his little snoot right next to my face, and he's like, Daddy, don't forget to feed me this morning, because I'm hungry. You know that, Daddy. And I tell him, like, yes, Nero, I know you're hungry, so I'll have to feed you. And then I get up, and then I see my computer down there, and I'm like, well, I should probably check my email. I should probably put a thumbnail on my video that uploaded, because I have to do that. I should probably put the next and previous annotations in the video too, because they should be there, and it might make people click on them. You know, they might want to see the previous video. So I think about all those things, and then I end up waking up at 6 AM, having only slept for 5 hours, and that's the life I lead. It's unfortunate, but that's how it happens. So I should start going to bed earlier. That's pretty much what I'm saying here. Anyway, next up, that was actually asked by... Yeah, that was asked by Gigaboost, the previous one, but now... You, sir, have yourself a truck. This is Cat12543. That was actually in response to the Bucky that we have. We call it Buckies here, B-A-K-K-I-E. It's a pickup or something like that. They call it a pickup in the US, and that's what we have. Or truck. There you go. Now, I'm assuming this is a she. She says that she's working on a package for both myself and Right Panda, completely filled with stuff from Canada. That's another country I'd like to visit. Canada always seems like a milder version of the US to me, and a much more tourist-friendly version. Not because the country's not as nice or welcoming, just because there's more stuff to see, and I prefer the weather there, and it seems like it's slightly more natural or nature-loving country than the US. They're more in touch with their natural sides, and they've got like more stuff that I would personally like to see as well. So I could actually just add that to one of the first questions in the video, saying that I'd actually like to see Canada one day. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. I just thought you guys would enjoy it, but her question is, do you ever get super self-conscious of yourself as a YouTuber or as yourself in real life? How do you deal with it? Good question. Really good question. I do get self-conscious, of course. I fix my hair up before I start a video. I might not upload a video if I think that I didn't do it correctly, if I said something really stupid or silly in the video. I suppose that's how it is, but not a lot. Definitely not a lot. I don't mind if I make a fool of myself. I mean, that's me. That's who I am. And, you know, if people don't like it, then they can unsubscribe. They don't have to watch the video. But I want to show you guys who I am and not... I don't like putting on a persona or a personality or changing who I am to record videos. I think that's silly. And the same applies to my real life. I think that I was obviously more self-conscious when I was a teenager, when I was younger, and I wasn't as confident or outgoing. But that's something that develops over time. You know, if you interact with a lot of people, if you feel happy with who you are, like a lot of people will be self-conscious about themselves because they're not happy how they look, not happy with how they look, they're not happy with their hair or the way their face looks or the way their body looks. And you know, I shouldn't be talking about stuff like this because I'm not qualified to talk about it, but I will say that if you're not happy with something about your life, try to change it. Work on it, even if it's something that takes long. If you think you're overweight, and now this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but when I was younger, I was chubby. When I was like a teenager, 15, 16-year-old, I was chubbles, okay? And I did something about it. I sort of actively tried to change that. I didn't go to the gym. We weren't that well off when I was younger, okay? And it's not a problem. It made me who I am today. We grew up not having much. We grew up making do with what we had. Like myself and my sister, we grew up very humbly. I think that's a way of saying something, humbly. We had a very humble life, and we had to share a room for a very long time, and we didn't always have the most expensive things that we wanted, but it was fine. We were happy with it. And you know, if I thought I was, you know, I thought to myself, well, I'm a bit chubby. Why don't I do something about it? Then I instead of going to the gym, I did sit-ups and push-ups in my room, okay? And I just tried to actively change that. You know, if I had pimples or something, then, and that's something that everyone has. No matter who you are, you've had a pimple in your life. And if you think, oh, well, you're feeling self-conscious because you got that, you don't need to feel self-conscious about that. You know, ignore it. Just be yourself. Be, you know, if you are self-conscious about how your face looks or about how your hair looks or about, then other people will see that and they'll think to themselves, well, this person is not very confident, and it'll just make people see you differently. And I know I'm not very good at explaining this, as I said before, but it's always something that you can change, and it's always something that you can control yourself, okay? And all of that stuff is very much affected by the way you're living your life and your personality and how you think of yourself. If you're depressed, if you're feeling bad about yourself, then, you know, things will be more difficult to do. So I'm bad at explaining this, but that's my way of explaining it. Okay, so yes, I felt self-conscious before, but I don't right now, and I feel that that's just because I sort of took the bull by the horns, and I don't know, I learned to live with who I am, and I don't really want to change myself, okay? I'm happy that my hair looks crazy. I'm gonna cut it actually soon. I don't mind that, you know, I don't mind. I'm not self-conscious about the way I look or the way I looked back then. I don't care about looking at old photos of myself. The fact that you guys can see me, I talk to you in vlogs and videos like this, it's something that was much more difficult when I started out, but it's something that I definitely got used to, and that's the case for many things in life. It takes a while to get used to. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's again a very roundabout way of answering it, but again, I'm not really qualified to talk about stuff like that professionally or anything like that. So that's it. That's my answer. I have felt very self-conscious before, but it's something you work at, and it's something that you improve over time. Okay? And there's no such thing as an ugly person or someone. I mean, there's always, everyone always thinks to themselves that they're not good enough, but that's untrue. That's untrue. Be the best person that you can be, and, you know, just live your life in that way, and I'm sure things will work out for the better. I know you weren't asking advice, you're asking how I deal with it, but that's how I deal with it. Be positive, be yourself, and enjoy doing what you do. Whatever it is. Like, whatever it is. So, next question from YYHK. Interesting nickname right there. I don't know what that means, but it's cool. Where do you originate from? He actually says, if I want to keep it private, that's fine. I originate from right here. South Africa. I am South African, and we've lived all over the country. We've moved a lot. I was born in Stellenbosch, and and we lived there for a while. We lived all over the place, as I said, so I'm from South Africa, and that's that. Now, I actually spent a lot of time answering some of these small questions, which I shouldn't have done. They shouldn't have been small, so that was actually my bad. But it's fine. It's okay. Then, what game would you like to see made into a movie, and who would you want to star in it? Tough. Really tough choice. I honestly would love seeing the Mass Effect series in a movie because I love sci-fi, but at the same time, I just don't like video game movies that much. I think that they are two separate things. I think that they should be kept separately. Sure, there can be spin-offs and this and that, but I haven't thought about that kind of thing very much because of that reason. I think that they don't always fit very well. I think that video games have their own way of storytelling, and they can be as enjoyable, if not more enjoyable, as movies. In a different way. Active enjoyment, not passive enjoyment. A movie you can sit there and enjoy in a different way than you can enjoy a game. And the same thing can be said for movies being converted into games. I think that the Blade Runner movie and the game were both amazing, and that was one of the rare cases where that was successful. I have actually played the Blade Runner game, and I wouldn't mind playing it again. Who knows, maybe I'll do a playthrough of that one day, just because it's probably one of the most amazing games ever. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I can't remember, it was a long time since I played it, but I can't really answer that question. I can't say which game I'd like in a movie, because most video game movies haven't been that great. There have been a few exceptions to the rule, but most haven't been that good. So, do you guys remember the Dungeon Siege movies? Oh my goodness, those were terrible. Those were absolutely terrible. Don't even want to think about those anymore. Anyway, okay. Do you think we'll be seeing the start of the Mr. Pandoria beta anytime soon? Mr. Pandoria beta, yes. Within the next month maybe, month and a half, who knows. I think we'll see it soon because they've probably got a lot to test. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot coming up soon. I actually read somewhere that people think that they might delay Heart of the Swarm till 2013. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they do that. Or like very late in the year. I would expect them to push the WoW expansion out sooner than Heart of the Swarm, but we'll have to see about that. But I do think the beta will be starting up soon. Yes, within the next week or two, or no, within the next month or two, rather. That's a better answer. Now you hear a lot of questions from Tails' response, and these are you planning on playing Final Fantasy? I do have Final Fantasy 13 on PlayStation. I haven't finished it yet, and I do plan on finishing it sometime. I don't think I'm going to be doing a playthrough of anything like that soon. It depends on if any of them come to PC, or if I get a recording device for our PS3. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to record anything like that soon. Do you like James Bond movies? Yes, I love them. I think Daniel Craig is really amazing. I did like Pierce Brosnan, and I absolutely loved Sean Connery. Sean Connery is amazing. Also one of my favorite actors, right there. Okay. Do you play PSP? No. So I don't have any favorite games there. I have a DS, a 3DS. And I've got Pokemon on it. That's it. Nothing else. I bought a 3DS for Pokemon. That's all. I don't actually want to play anything else on there. Maybe as Zelda, Ocarina of Time, I'll get that sometime soon. And I'd like to play that. Are you going to buy the DLC for Skyrim? Yes, I will. He says that you'll be able to travel to the Imperial City and Morrowind. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'll definitely buy it. Are you going to play Amnesia 2? And there's actually another question of this. But the next question is actually... Where is it? There's a new Amnesia game coming out this year. So could you do a webcam playthrough of it and get scared? This is from Dr. TH001. Yes, I will do that. I'm actually going to buy a webcam sometime soon. I'm not sure when. I want to get a proper one. If you guys have any recommendations for really good webcams, please, you know where to put them. I want to get a webcam because I want to incorporate that in my gameplay as well, because I do have some pretty crazy facial expressions going on. I am very excitable when it comes to playing games. I'll bounce around in my chair. I will get angry at the screen. I will get excited at the screen. And I think it's something that you guys would want to see. So I don't want to deprive you of that. I want to keep that from you. So yes, I'll do a playthrough of Amnesia if the new one comes out sometime. And I'll definitely have a webcam for it. There you go. Now, the next one is, What is one game that you've spent the most hours or time on, and how many hours was this approximately? This is from AU on to internets. Okay, so most time, Quake 3. Definitely the amount of hours, I think we're talking days here. Days, hundreds of days probably. I would think that I'm probably like close to a year of my life, full on a year of my life in Quake 3 Arena. I played that game too much. I played like I had sessions of like 6 hours of, or no, maybe not 6 hours, but like 2 or 3 hours straight, and then another 2 or 3 hours after that. Basically, I played a lot of Quake 3, and that was just 1v1s, team, not so much team deathmatches. I'm not good, I don't play well with others, but lots of 1v1 in, more so on LAN than online, so I don't play very well with ping. I don't play 50 ms, I struggle with that. My lightning gun accuracy, amazing with 0 or 10 ms or whatever, but when you get up to 50 or 100, then not so great. Just because I'm not so good at judging the delay, judging where to shoot. I played a lot of Quake. A lot. I haven't made any videos of Quake recently because I haven't had time to play it recently, and honestly, I don't like Quake Live. I will play Quake Live, but I don't like it. I prefer Quake 3 Arena. It felt much more solid to me, the non-web-based version, and that's that. I'm sure that Quake is the game that I spent the most time on, and I'm not ashamed of that. I think the game was absolutely amazing. Let's see. So that's that. I don't know an exact amount of hours, but I hope that answers your question. Next up, this one's from StreamZones23. Have you played any of the Dynasty Warrior series? Or any of the spin-offs? And what did you think of them? I haven't played them. I have heard a lot about them. I heard that they're very crazy and over the top, but I don't have an opinion on them because I haven't actually played them. Then, next up, should I play them? I don't know. Maybe I'll play one in the future sometime. Next and last up, actually, are you going to do a playthrough of Legend of Grimrock? It's apparently coming out in April, and this is from Fungal Decay. I like the look of that game. I said before that I liked Ultima Underworld a lot. I liked that kind of game. I think Arx Fatalis was the same kind of thing. So that said, yes. I would like to do a playthrough of it, but that depends on lots of other things. Things like what other playthroughs I'm doing right now on my channel. If I can get something done by then. Maybe Assassin's Creed is done by the mid-April or something. But that's something I'm going to have to see when the time comes around. I am very interested in the game though, so thanks to whoever linked it before. Thank you very much. But that's it for the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry if I was too tired. Sorry if my voice was like getting away from me here, you know, because I didn't get very much sleep, and yeah, I haven't had enough coffee today. Let's just say that. And it's incredibly hot, that too. So I apologize if I didn't sound very good or look very energetic in this video, but I wanted to get it done today, during the day, because the last video was a little bit dark and dreary, so I hope this is better. I'll show you guys the scenery just before I end the video, so you can see how hot it really looks. And I'll show you the little plant pot that we made for Nero with grass in. But that is it for this video. If you guys have any questions, I said last week that I was going to give a topic this week, but I'm not going to do that yet. You guys are still giving so many questions. Every week there are tons of questions, and I must say that Fab12UCB, you actually have a very good way of asking the questions. I see that every time I upload a vlog or a video or something, and he sees something in that he thinks, well, I'd like to ask a question about that. Then he comes back to the weekly and he leaves a question on it, and that's a good way of doing it. So leave questions when you think of them. You don't have to leave all your questions at the same time, or you can mail them to me at talesoflumin@gmail.com. That works too. Now, I'll mention that I'm going to probably do a giveaway soon with, I've got 2 Path of Exile beta keys and 2 Diablo 3 beta keys to give away, and that'll come on up on my channel sometime soon. I'm not sure when I'll give them away or how I'll give them away. If you have any suggestions about that, let me know. But I'll give them away. And sadly, I didn't get like 100 beta keys like some other people. I did get 2, and I'm happy about that. Like, I'm very thankful to Blizzard for sending me 2. Even 2 is enough. It's 2 more than I had before. So look forward to that sometime soon. But that's it for this video. I'm going to eat my peanut butter and honey sandwich right now, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend, because it is Sunday. And, you know, it's a day that you should probably try do something enjoyable on. So, let me lift this tripod up and show you Nero's grass pot. Actually, let me take the camera off here. It's much easier if I can take the camera off here. There you go. Let's see. Look at this. Look how green this grass actually is. I don't know if you can see it because it's very bright here, but this is very nice grass. Ooh, so tasty looking. And here our other plants are. There's some parsley there, there's some little trees. Some of them not looking so good, but you know, I got a lot of them. And if just 1 or 2 survive, then I'll be happy. And there's my other plant. That one's my pride and joy. And those are the ever trees. And that's Nero. Okay, so check back here soon for more. Most importantly though, happy asking those questions.